So yes, folks, let me talk for a bit about the fall of Diddy. So here's the funny thing about this particular review that you're gonna hear here, right? A couple weeks ago, I did a review of one of the first documentaries to come out since Diddy was arrested, right?
Right.
Called Diddy: The Making of a Bad Boy. But what happened because of the recording itself, right? Because I used a different program at the time. I didn't use, because two programs I used to record, right? But because I didn't use the other one, I relied on the first one, and I had my browser up. Yeah, the just my vocals were just choppy as hell, right? I couldn't really use it. But this, you see, if I had the backup recording, I could have put that out there, and that would have been the review that you would have heard, right? So because of that, yes, I had to scrap it, right? So consider this a second chance at me talking about this material here, right? And it's kind of interesting that I'm talking about this show here, right? Because what it's about, basically, it is a four-part docu-series, but it's actually like a bonus segment attached to it as well. I'll talk about that later on. But it's not technically 5 episodes. That's just a bonus piece of material there, right? Yeah. So this one pretty much details the fall of Diddy, right? Well, the rise and fall of Diddy, but more on the fall itself, right? While what I previously saw was just more about trying to figure out, you know, how he became the villain that we now know him as, right? That's what it was. While they were touching on the rise of his fame and wealth, all that kind of stuff, right? But it more leaned towards his fall, about his dark side, all that kind of stuff, right? So
Right.
by comparison, this one here, the Fall of Diddy, is a better product. It's a better product because I mean it's obvious. It's longer. It's more detailed. It tells things in a very yeah, it sort of lays things out a lot better, right? Not seen at the previous show, Making of a Bad Boy Rush things, right? But it's just that with this one there was a lot of material, but it had more than enough time to lay things out. So it was just easy for you to more or less digest everything and understand what's being said here, right? And yeah, like I said, with this one here, it just pretty much details the rise and fall, right? So we see him from his early beginnings. Funny enough, his childhood friend, well, basically is this guy who used to live with him and Diddy's mom, right? And he would eventually work with him in Uptown Records, right? But then when Diddy left and formed Bad Boy Records, he just stayed back for a while, right? So it's like that.
Right.
That same guy comes back and he's interviewed as well. So he touches on a couple of things that he said from the last doc, but he also add more details as well, right? So I appreciate that, right? And I think if I'm not mistaken, this is makeup artist for Cassie, who was in the previous show as well. She comes back as well too, and she adds more detail to that story as well, right? So yes, and also one thing they do well though, they don't spend too much of it, right? But they get just enough time for you to understand, right? Yeah, why we were so enamored, right? Especially as as black people, right? Why we were enamored by Diddy's success, right?
Right.
With
Right.
him with Bad Boy Records blowing up the way he did, sorry. The chart up his success of, guys like, well, rappers like, Biggie and of course, Lil Kim and whatnot. How he branched out, what I mean, how he was just able to do all these great big things, right? All these great things, right? And yet underneath all of that, there was still this darkness that was going on, right? And we spoke about this before, Ricardo, right? Some of these things you'll find out like after the fact, right? And you'll be like, you'll come afterwards and be like, I always knew he was full of shit, even before that video surfaced with him, in the hotel room in the hotel hallway, sorry, with Cassie. Even before that, I knew Diddy was a piece of shit, blah blah blah, right? But again, I just love shows. I love how these shows detail it. So they would show, like, say back in '97 or '99, for example, right, when we were so swept up by hip hop music at the time, and you would hear cases, you would hear little rumors about what he did or what he was involved in, and just be like,
And from
okay, right, and then afterwards
it
it would
was
tell you,
simple.
and
It
you'd be
was
like,
simple.
oh shit, wow, I didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
know.
yeah. Here's the thing. It was a simple answer. So most of this, he ride with a Biggie. Biggie dead, and he ride Biggie with as Biggie
Yes,
friend.
he did, he
And
did, he
that was
did.
basically that bullshit worked for like a good 10 years straight. Like People just forget that. It's like, oh yeah, but he's Biggie Virgin now, so we gave him a pass. Like that is it.
Yeah,
People
that
that
is
is true.
true. That is actually
He
true, right?
got
Yeah.
Grammy. He got Grammy for Sting, for the song with Sting. I think I remember he
I'll
got
be
Grammy for
missing
that.
you. Yes, and they touch
Yeah, yeah,
on that show. They touch
yeah.
on the previous doc did, but not as much, right? But this one tap into that. Yeah, why I'll be missing you was a big deal back in '97. Remember, this came out like a few months after Biggie got killed, and
Yeah.
and a few months after that man album drop, Life After Death, right? This album, I mean that song drop, I'll never forget. It dominated the whole summer. Whole summer '97 was between More Money, More Problems and I'll Be Missing You. Like it was those two songs. Those two songs dominate the summer. Well, that and All About the Benjamins, of course. Like
Right.
those three were like the three drive, the songs that would drive in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. He does looks. Well, again, this guy did a great breakdown of it last year. That was one of my favorite videos of
Yeah,
last year.
FD, which and I
Right,
mentioned in that review, I watched his video essay first, and then I
right,
jumped into that first Diddy documentary, right? And
right.
yeah, I thought that documentary, that video essay that FD did was great,
Yeah,
though.
but a big part of it was just him just putting himself front and center. The thing with Diddy, I'll say, is that if Diddy just dial himself back, it wouldn't be so bad. But
That's true.
because he had to be so front and center.
All
And
in the
remember his
videos,
original,
as Suge Knight
yeah,
say, all in the videos.
e-
Yeah,
exactly. If it wasn't that, it wouldn't be a problem. But the thing is, that was the original claim to fame. He was a party guy. Like it was all parties, making sure parties work. Making sure the vibe flow. It's just been about entertaining no matter what. Like there's a kind of known open secret that Biggie didn't really have great stage presence, and that's a big part of why Diddy was all up in the videos. And thing is to make Biggie look better. Like Biggie have the flow, but Biggie don't have good stage presence, unlike Tupac. Like it's that, right? I think we do it. Biggie, the reason why he used to wear shades on thing, very
yeah,
goofy,
because
right?
it lazy eye.
It's like
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
right, exactly stuff like that, right? Is all of them things. Like so, he just find himself there, but the problem is that because Biggie was like, no pun intended, too big for him, he couldn't just like treat Biggie like trash the same way he treat like say we call him
Craig
Black
Mack.
Rob
Oh
or
yeah,
Craig
Black
Mack,
Rag,
right?
yeah. Boy,
Like trash.
I still to this day feel bad for Craig Mack, right? R.I.P.
Yeah,
Because his
yeah,
album
exactly,
was supposed to come out before Biggie, but
exactly,
because
right. So
Biggie
it's all them little things, right?
just had so much, his music was relatively better. It's like, nah, put out
Yeah,
Biggie music first, right? Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I suppose that in that case it might be the right caller, but still is bullshit. Um,
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
right.
But
But well,
speaking of his history as a party promoter, right? I do like that this show also touches on this incident that took place in I think it's '91, right, where he hosted this event, like brought a bunch of Uptown Records people, right,
right.
to what is essentially this gym, right, at this college, right, this basketball court, if you will, right, but because he just want to be the life of the party, want to be the star of the show, he invite too much people. And as a result, there was this huge riot, and 9 people died. Like they were crushed by just all these
Really.
people, right? And yeah, the families of the relatives of those dead people, yes, sue the shit out of Diddy Dread, and
Right, right.
well, they touch on. Well, you see, the outcome of that is the very same thing that they touch on in the previous show, right? One thing they do brilliantly, right? And I'm glad that the show actually reminded me of this, because even back then, back in 2000, I think it was, right? I didn't, or 2001, I didn't know 2000, I didn't know the full details. They touch on what happened with Diddy and J-Lo and
Right, right.
Shine. They touch on that. They go into full
Right, right,
detail.
right. So,
They
so that
show,
shine documentary.
and they actually had the victim of that, because, well, the victim in the sense that she got shot at,
Right,
bullet hit she face thread. She was
right,
there. They interview her, and how she
right.
detailed everything. I was like, wow, boy. You know what I mean? Even back then, Diddy was on shit because, yeah, slight spoiler,
Yeah,
he had a gun. He was packing at the time. It
yeah.
wasn't just Shine, and yet Shine was the one who took the fall. Diddy
Right.
also was firing shots. And one of them bullets hit the poor girl, and yet Diddy get free and put out the song Bad Boy for Life. And,
Right.
sorry, no, I should mention too, right? In the theme song for the show, the reference, the sample, the song Al Green's "Love and Happiness." If you remember, that's the sample that they use in G Dep's "Let's Get It." That
Yeah.
ooh, ooh, yeah, like you hear the background, and that vroom vroom, which you hear with the doom 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 doom. Which, yes, back in 2001, I was vibing to that song, or 2000, I think it was. Yeah, Let's Get It was the shit. Let's Get It was the shit,
Yeah, that's
right?
a big one. Yeah,
But
that's yeah, right.
I will never forget, like the biggest takeaway from that song, right, is the last line that Diddy says, "Not
Not good.
guilty and I'm filthy."
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. And when
Yeah,
I
that's
heard that
it.
theme song, and when they detail what happened with Shine, and when you see everything else that happened in the show, my mind just kept going back to that. Not guilty and I'm filthy.
You gotta go back. No, but you gotta go back to the all of the people who say not guilty back then. You know that the best track record, right? So R. Kelly,
Yes,
right?
yes, that's guilty. Oh, gosh, guilty
Jay
till
Z,
proven innocent. Dog,
yeah,
I can't
and then
listen to that song, and that video
yeah,
has not
yeah,
aged well at
yeah.
all. Trust
Well,
me
the
on that.
Jay Z the Jay Z right place either right now. He's not looking good.
You know?
Although I know again, with that specific case wrong, but like people eventually, I don't know. I think it have a lot of smoke with Jay Z. So I don't, when things come back, I don't think Jay Z like really crossed the line, but it's still possible. It's a real possibility. But it's like when they had the not guilty stuff, but it's not helping. It's
That
not helping
that's
massively.
true. Yeah, that's true. Especially with his history, right? They touch on what
Yeah.
happened with Steve Stoutred and the whole
Right.
incident with the Hate Me Now music video. Because I forgot about that. But remember back in
So that's
'99,
the thing.
Hate
I
Me
mean,
Now was
the,
kind of like the shit there. But then when you
yeah, no,
hear about
but
what
that's
happened
the
with the
thing.
video and how Steve Stout
Yeah,
literally
people
get
forget how.
beat, Dread, like whoa.
Yeah, people forget how ambitious Ziggy was, right? Because he had that video, but he had what do you call it? Yeah, that he hit me now, right, with writing, but
Not
he also had
oh
the
gosh, not Victory.
yeah,
But
huge.
but Victory was off of Life after that. No, sorry, was after was off of No Way Out. That came out the
Right,
same year that Biggie died, '97.
right.
But yes, just the video, which is like this
And the
dystopian thing,
and
and you
the
see him
and the God
running,
and the Godzilla
and the
one, right?
Godzilla song back in '98 "Come
Yeah,
With Me," which is
yeah,
terrible. Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah, he was going big with music videos. Like
yeah.
the
Because
bling, that
yeah,
was the
because
jiggy
because
era, you know.
yeah, the only person who had big music videos like that was probably Michael Jackson. In terms of like how much money you're spending on these videos, though.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
I don't think that anybody as big, to be honest. Like it's just a big event that like back then music videos mattered. So it's like, is that thing now? I don't know. Is that
Yeah,
weird?
and I like
Right.
also too, 'cause I don't want to say too long in this, right? I like how they touch on just his influence on hip hop music, right? Back in the late '90s, right? Because yes, when Life After That came out, like we'll like remember Hypnotize, how big of a deal that was, just how big that video was. Dog, I will never forget seeing like the premiere. Don't mind it was on local TV of More Money, More Problems.
Yeah, it's
Like
huge.
that was huge. That video was huge, and that
Yeah,
come out like
that and
right after
Hypnotize was pretty big
Right
too.
after Biggie died. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Hypnotize was huge too, and especially how it plays all
Hmm.
like this action thing, right? But
Yeah,
the point is, like the show, I like that the show is brave enough to say, look, yes, the man was a visionary, Dre. The man was forward thinking when it came to music and all that kind of stuff. The idea of him doing the whole making the band thing, that was forward thinking, right? But
right,
is all the dark stuff that was going on, right? So, right
right.
after when they touch on Shine Boy, they
Yeah,
touch on some
making the band was up pretty early in the whole reality television thing because like I think he was just kind of ripping off Real World. But for music, no, I don't think anybody did that though. To be honest.
That's
Yeah,
true. I
you're right.
think it was
Yeah, you're
urban
right.
music.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
while the previous doc focused on Sarah, right? She was one of the members of the band, right? She
right.
was the singer in because just like it was, I think it was three male rappers, one female rapper, and Sarah, the singer, right? She touched on she was talking about how she was sexually assaulted by Diddy, right? But in
Wow.
this case, they touch on Danity Keene, one of the members of that. Well, this girl group, right? And one of the members, she also was sexually assaulted by him too. But even before that, and boy, this one real hit me too, right? In the show itself, and you have to remember the time, right? Because this is during the era of The Apprentice, all that kind of stuff, right? This kind of sensationalist take on reality TV. These kind of moments where we're like, ooh, all that kind of stuff that like we reacting, like we shocked now, but we're not really thinking about what really going on, right? There's this really unsettling moment where Diddy is like he have like a webcam basically, right? And he is watching the girls trying on different outfits and he's watching them, right? And then after he have like this board meeting with them and he calling out this white girl, right? Remember saying about how you acting promiscuous and look how you're dressed and all that kind of stuff. And we can't have that, Dre. We can't have that. I literally kicked the girl out like in front of she friends, Red. Because how he
Right.
said, like how he verbalized it though, was real brutal, Dread. But like from a reality show context, that's the moment where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe he see that. Be more thinking about it as a TV show. You're not thinking that, this girl's feelings get hurt. Like he literally threw this girl out in the street, right? And yes, the interviewee, the member, yes, she got thrown out too because she was siding with her because that white girl was feeling a kind of way about how Diddy was proving on her too. Okay, that was what he was hinting at as well, right? But yeah, that man was just on shit from years ago. You know what I mean? Just for years, right? And I like that this is one moment, right? Even though the previous doc tried to explore and examine what could have led to him becoming this monster, right? But I like that this one moment that touched it, right? I go back to FD, right? And what he loves to touch on, patriarchy. Yes, is Diddy mother basically saying, look, you can't be taking licks from people in your school. I'm not taking that. You gotta fight back. If somebody punch you, you
Right.
punch back. As that kind of mentality, that is the seed which this narcissistic character that he is, this person
Yeah.
that he is, that's where it stemmed from. That's where it stemmed from. Simple thing. Mom saying, don't take no shit from nobody. Fight back. And that's what it is. So you could see that throughout the course. I like how they just lead it out timeline wise. Yeah, he not gonna take no for an answer. He will do whatever he want. He will act whatever way he acts towards anybody. Whether it's a woman or whoever it is. And he will just be like, well, no, I'm Diddy. I deserve the best in life because I'm Diddy.
Right.
Look at me, I'm a visionary. Look at me. I can do what I want, right? That's where it stemmed from. I love how they do that. So, just as to wrap things up, right? So not surprising, some of these stories are hard to listen to. There's one in particular with this girl whose boyfriend was working for Diddy at a point in time. And it was this really brutal rape that she details, and boy, it was just really rough to sit through, right? And he also touched on the abuse that Cassie was going through as well, right? And it's stuff
Right.
that, again, behind the scenes you wouldn't even know. Still to this day, I am perplexed at how her career was just cut short, right? Because she had one song, one lead single, one album. And even one of the interviewees brought it up too, is like, we were there wondering when's the next album coming out. It's like, no, she just shack up with Diddy, endure such abuse, and then she finally leave him. And then, well, when people, when the allegations started coming out now of him, yeah, that's when the video leaked last year now, and that's when everything just went to hell for him, right? So it's like that. But just knowing that she was going through all that, because even back then, I knew that he was with her now, and I still always used to wonder why now, because he's literally, wait for this, sir, he's literally twice her age,
Okay. Wow. I didn't
Yeah,
realize all
I
that.
didn't even know that. I didn't even know that dude was twice Cassie's age. Right? That's all sorts of fucked up, right? Well,
Right.
given what he was doing, right? And yes, of course, they touch on the sex trafficking stuff that was going on as well, and that leads into this bonus episode where you had this basically this guy who just used to, how to say, he just used to run errands for him, right? That's basically what it is, right? And on occasion he just used to film stuff and whatnot, right? Like recording session and whatnot, right? And this man was pulling up like conversations on IG and WhatsApp, voice notes that did he send him. Yeah, basically
Right.
saying, bring drugs, bring this. And yes, he did say yes, the man had baby oil, and
Right.
it was for the purposes that we know him, we know that he accused of, all that kind of stuff. Yes, the man was crazy. The man was just insane, Dread. He just did not care. He had no filter on him, Dread. And it's good that his sins finally caught up with him, right? I'm glad that these people, these interviewees came out and pretty much talking down on him, right? Just calling him out
Right.
for the piece of shit that he is, right? So that's a wrap up here. So no, it's not for everyone, right? And if like the stuff that I mentioned here, will trigger you, what I mean, especially when it comes to stuff about sexual abuse, rape and all that kind of stuff. I would not recommend that you watch this, right? But I would say that if you want to know more about, like, if you just really want to know, why he, who he was, or why he is the way he is, yes, I recommend you to check it out, right? But in
Right. Right.
particular, like if you're like me, and you grew up on the bad boy era, on the jiggy era, if you will, right? And you heard the songs and you saw the music videos. And yes, Diddy was all over them. Like, look, like, listen, I love Ready to Die, right? That's still top 5 for me, right? I love Life After That, right? It could be hard now, and I'll explain why as I wrap up now. It could be hard for me to listen to these tracks, to these albums now. Because even though I still love them, yeah, similar to another show, called Surviving R. Kelly, after I watched this show here, right? And oddly enough, it didn't happen after I watched the previous doc, right, is after I sat through this 4 part or 5 part, if you will, docu-series. I went on my phone, pull up my micro SD card, I just delete all the songs that featured Diddy.
Right.
Even the songs that he rapped on. Dog, it hurt me to do this shred. I had to delete the song Diddy that Pharrell did.
Right.
I love the beat for that, and I delete that, I can't listen to I can't listen to that again, because of them stories I heard, right? And I know, right? And I know you'll pull me up on this, right?
No, it's not
Is
politics. I don't
music
blame anybody for doing
versus
this.
the
Like,
artist.
but I would.
You can make the distinction. I understand, right? But it's just hard for me now, having heard the
Right.
story that I heard, to hear. I just want to blow your mind. I mean, literally blow your mind, and not think about the shit that he did in the past, right? So I
Yeah.
just delete all that.
Right.
I'm sorry. But yeah, you was gonna say about distinguishing the art from the artist, though.
Yeah, no, it's the same. We had this argument before. I mean, it's like it's up to you. I don't bother me as much as other people. Like I still have Kanye on my thing. I still have whatever. Like I don't have like I don't think I have R. Kelly, but I'll admit I wasn't that much of an R. Kelly fan anymore. So it's whatever. This is when it come up. It will come up for whatever artist. I don't bother me the same way others bother other people. It's music. I don't really care. The big sticking point is the money. Like if you're really feeding into the person, that kind of thing. No? I've got my attitude is memory now. I have a distrust of when you undermine memory. So it's like, oh, when the history of this happened or didn't happen. So that is my whole argument of it. I don't like the whole Cosby the show stuff, right? From BoJack Horseman. Like I don't believe in that. That's all I'll say. I believe in the past and what the past was and how I perceived it back then and whatnot. That's how I kind of see it. So you don't have to listen to the song. I just avoid the music, but I don't delete it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Well,
it's
well,
up to
well,
you. It's
well,
like, I
well.
don't blame you.
Yeah, well, for me, how I would see it now, as a wrap up here, is that if it plays on a radio, or if like I'm in some club or something like that, and I hear the song, I would
Right.
not like run out and be like, no, I don't want to listen
Right,
to
right,
that.
right. It's not
No,
that,
evil.
right?
No, no, it wouldn't be like that.
Right.
But like on my
Yeah.
phone, like if I just taking a walk or if I just travel and whatnot,
Right,
no,
yeah, let's skip it
I'm
entirely.
good, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, like, if you are familiar with his work, right? If you're just familiar with that era of hip hop music, I think that this is an essential view, right? Now I'm not gonna rank this, I'm not gonna rate this amongst the other Diddy docs though. I know that there's one apparently that 50 Cent is gonna be putting out.
Right. That's the one
That's the one I
I'm
want to
waiting
see.
for.
I
Yeah,
feel I
exactly.
feel that one will get very, very, very wild, right? I know that for sure, right?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm really looking forward, right? But to me, this one is really, really good, man. So rated wise, I'll give this a strong 3.5 out of 5, right? It's worth checking out, right? Again,
Right.
not gonna be for everyone because of the material, but but I'll close this, right? It is one of those, when it comes to matters like this, right? We always have this, like, I know for some people, the instinct is just, I don't want to know. I don't want to know the thing he do. I don't want to know. It's just that he bad because I saw that one video on CNN. I don't want to, and that's all I need to know. But I feel
Yeah.
like, personally, especially like if we grew up hearing the music, that's the most important part, right? If you cared about the music and you still do, I still think, like, especially like just as far as like hip hop history, like I feel like you just
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
know
Right.
these things. So I
Yeah,
would say,
exactly.
yeah, take the time. It's 4 episodes, well, and the bonus episode. So about 3 hours. So you don't have to binge it. I just watch an episode, pause, and then jump to the next one. Watch it, get the full scope of things, and then you just move on. You could keep the songs on your phone or on your Spotify
Right.
playlist, or you could get rid of them. You know what I mean, like I did. But it's just, again, if you grew up on it, if you heard the music, I feel like you need to know what was really going on, especially, and this is one thing I love about the show, especially that moment with Shine and what went down with that club.
Right.
That was a key moment for me, not just
But
the
yeah,
casting moment, but that moment with
yeah,
Shine.
exactly.
I needed to
That
see
was
that. I
yeah.
didn't know the full context of that
No, from
incident.
since no since that happened, I remember that happened, and it's like, yeah, this kind of weird. Like clearly, did he do something right? Like to me, it was that. I find problem is that JLo and did he get off too clean? So like,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, and then Shine just have to take the whole fall. And I well, clearly Shine take the fall for Diddy do it some nonsense. Like it felt like that. I remember talking about our friends and like I side I Diddy since then. And like, oh, if he was that shady, and then because you don't know the working history of that because you didn't have the internet. And then when they started dig up, it's like, all right, Shine, Diddy probably was involved in X, Y, and Z from before now. Some nonsense now. Like that's what it is. And yeah, and in the end, it didn't really boil down to that. You mentioned that thing. Did he have you have a ego problem now. You have a insecurity problem now. So everything is anything, and ego is just real into it now. So even when he supposed to be play acting, he's still a problem now. Like remember when he had a whole meltdown when somebody called him out when he was doing the Joker thing and nobody knew it was Diddy, and he
Yeah.
still get vexed. I was like, dude, nobody know who you look like. Why would you get vexed as if the man actually insulted him? Like he had a problem. It's a normal thing there. And
Yeah.
it's the body. It's like yes, he's so distant and he so think he was untouchable. And a lot of people think that the reason why he think he's so untouchable because he had the power of he did in a time without the internet. And when enough time passed, he didn't think that would be a problem. That's why the Cassie thing blow back on him. Because I thought what I think he did was he thought he get rid of the tape and he didn't think that somebody would hold on to the tape. Stuff like that now. Let me think this add up. Not realizing that people have incentives that eventually get to the point where people will have incentives against you, not just the raw money of it. Like, no, after a while, people stop caring about money because you're too abusive. Like, you just are symptom of a deeper problem. That, aka all other wealthy people getting into trouble. Like, you just watch Elon Musk just now, right? Like, people just stop giving a shit about this dude, right? And say, oh, right, you just have a problem. You gotta go. Like, it's just that. Yeah. Watch anybody ever see the movie Uncut Gems? It's
I
of that
did. Yep.
bullshit.
Yep.
It's that bullshit,
Hmm.
right? They did not give a shit that he win. They didn't care. He win there, and they didn't care. That's all I'll say. It gets to that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
After a while, some beat about anybody, and then it's like you're too much of a problem. You think you can just buy anybody, like and you must go down. And he was like the most egregious now. I don't know. As I say, for him as his legacy in terms of the music, it wasn't really like a big. I'll admit, I don't really have like skin in the game in that sense. Like when it come up, I do think like sooner or later it's something gonna come up serious with Jay Z, and it's gonna be that probably. Like the last thing come up and it kind of didn't get discredited, so like that. But something with Jay Z gonna come up, something that I don't know if it'll be super serious, but it'll be serious to the point where Jay Z's a problem, that kind of thing. But so it's gonna be that. So I try to wait for when it's gonna happen to me as a fan, like. I'm that person, but it can't happen to me with Kevin Spacey as an actor. So like, well,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
passed
Yeah.
through that already.
Hmm.
So it passed through that already. So Emma, I don't know, like that's the thing with these documentaries. Everybody kind of piling on it, and nobody really added any new or interesting information.
Yeah.
Because the
But
Shine
I
thing was
think
like
this
not
one
new.
certainly does it. This one certainly does
Okay,
it. Yeah.
okay. If it is so, but to me, I find once you read like the right Reddit thread or whatever it is, you'll get mostly everything you need to know. And especially if you take the time to actually do proper research, you'll know eventually. Is that how it is Wells way. Right, as I say, the 50 Cent one I want to see. Like, I want to see what his take will be, it is, or the spin, or what you'll put into it. I'll be making an effort with this. That is the one I think will be the definitive one, to be honest. Whatever, is that? Yeah, go ahead. That is it.
All right. So I am just throwing this out there, right? Because for one thing, I don't know if we will get one, if we'll actually get a Diddy doc from 50 Cent, right?
Right.
But even though the material is rough, right? And I seeing people who, supposed to be there and seeing what they need to see, right? One thought kept coming to mind though while I was watching this, right? Where's Bentley? Why haven't anybody reached out to Bentley and talked to him?
Listen, I don't know why
Listen,
I
that
say that.
motherfucker had a umbrella. And that was a gimmick, I have an umbrella. Look, I tried to do a little singing thing, a little rapping thing with Kanye
I,
one point in
for
time,
a
and
hot
then he just
minute,
disappeared. Why he
for a
didn't come
hot
out and
minute,
say something about Diddy?
for a hot minute, I keep asking this question. Where's Bentley Farnsworth?
Thank you.
Where is
And
this
I
dude?
but say this too, because if 50 pull he and have he as
That'll
an
be funny.
interviewee boy,
Yeah, that'll be hot.
that's it. That's it. That's it.
I said, yeah. He have to have like a lot of dudes. Have to. Was too close. He was
Yeah.
way too close to this bullshit. You are fine.
And no, you could go deeper and talk about, like you try to contextualize slavery, because
Right.
you have basically a house slave, with an umbrella following this guy about, and okay, it's a gimmick, but maybe it isn't. But that's not how you present it. Because yes, when we
Yeah.
first saw Bentley with that umbrella, we all thinking, oh, like this is like the equivalent of a weed carriage, right? Like you just had to be around with this umbrella, right? But yeah, real talk. They had to find this guy. Somebody had to find this guy. Somebody had to talk to him. And I feel 50 will be the one to do it. I feel like like he will track that guy down and bring him in. But if he is there, boy, that's it. Talk done. Talk done.
No? Yeah.
So speaking of Ye, or formerly known as Kanye West, allow me for a while to just purge myself of Mr. West.
Before we start, somebody on TikTok did a meme where they call him Kanye West. Kanye's arc is almost identical to Tucson from Bleach.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, it was perfect. Somebody like add it up there and compare it and use the art style. That shit was funny as hell though. Kanye did something like all of the hubbub and noise and whatever it is, but he did one thing that I find was like particularly insidious recently. You'll get into that. You're gonna mention it.
Okay, well, I hope I do, but if I don't mention it, please do, you know?
I'll bring it up. But
Yeah.
but I think that in particular pissed me off. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. So the context behind what is just basically this mini rant, right, was that on Friday, right, last Friday, a couple of days before Super Bowl Sunday, right? Yeah, Ye just went up on Twitter and just started regurgitating just a whole bunch of really vile tweets, right? Mostly talking about Jews and Hitler was so fresh, man, and all that kind of stuff, and it's just this non-stop barrage he was just doing for a full day, right? And we should mention, folks, that this came like about a week or so, less than a week, before he made a surprise appearance at the Grammys with his wife, Bianca. And, I actually watched the clip, right? Because I heard about it through the news, but I didn't really watch the clip. Yeah, literally going to she, whispering she and whatnot for a little bit. And then she just disrobes because she had this gown on, this black gown on, right? And she has a skin-tight outfit on. So basically she was naked,
Right.
save for the skin-tight outfit, right? I just there watching this wow, this is how far you want to go for people to talk about you. Like I think he was nominated for E-Rap's, I think it's Song or Record of the Year with Carnival, right? The lead single off of Vultures won, right? But yeah, other than that though, this is how you try. This is how you going out your way to get people to notice you.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not sure because we were still back and forth about if it's just rage bait and pay attention bullshit over him having actually this another meltdown because he mentioned something about autism and all right, I mean, if it is so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or he mentioned it, right? Yes. He mentioned something along the line that is he autism going off or something like that. The whole narrative for a good while is that he bipolar, right? I would say in the late 2010s, it's like, oh, I'm bipolar, so forgive me when I talk a lot of shit. Forgive me when I wear a MAGA cap. Forgive me, right? But yeah, back to what happened on Friday.
If you're serious about that, just turn off your phone.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But dude spent the entirety of Friday just talking a set of shit. I even went up on X. I'm barely on X, right? As I always say, at the end of these episodes, right? And I just went on his account, which right now, the time of us recording this is deactivated, right? Deactivated, right? Okay. Yeah, and it's just a barrage of stuff, nigga this. The man even used the F word, right? The other F word, right? And it's just a whole bunch of shit, man. Talk about how, all they did Diddy wrong, for example, you know what I mean? And we just talked about Diddy, right? We did Diddy wrong, and all they do with Chris Brown, free puff and all that kind of thing. I was working on a clothing line and all kind of shit, right? And it even went on into the following morning as well, too, right? And I sat down and I really took in what was going on, right? I also shout out to, Auntie Fantano and Sean C, right? Because they put out 2 videos on Saturday as well to pretty much echoing what I was thinking, right? Yeah, Kanye's done. This is it. This is the full extent of his madness. This is the full extent of his attention whoring. And as somebody who just kind of I was always kind of pissed off by it, right? But I just always felt, here's what, right? He's attention whore, okay, no problem. He have no filter, okay, right? But at least when he dropped music, right? Okay, at least I could still respect him as a musical artist, as a producer, as a rapper, whatever it is, right? Can't even do that anymore. Because as I said last year with my best albums list, Vultures 1 and 2 was trash. Them is the 2 worst albums I heard all of last year, right? And apparently at the moment now he's supposed to be dropping a record, I'm not sure when, called Bully, right? Now at a point in time, while I was seeing all this tweet stuff going on and people was talking about it all over the internet, right? Whether it's Variety or IndieWire, no, not IndieWire, Variety and Complex, those 2 publications is real talking about it, right? That's why I was getting a majority of oh, he say this about Puff, he say this about this, he say this about that, through those people, right? Yeah, I was wondering if it was just a publicity stunt to hype up Bully. So he's an online bully, he's talking down to the Jews, So when the album come out, it'll just be like, yeah, I was trying to make a point, I was trying to talk about, cancel culture and, tweets and how serious they are, right? Almost kind of paralleling what's going on right now with this girl, Carla Sophia Gascon, with the stuff that's resurfaced from her ex account, right? And it's to the point that when I hear that about, I was like, wow, but that's real rough. The director of Emilia Perez was like, me want to talk to she,
Right.
He distanced himself from she, because of that,
And he's the problem. He's a problem, on you, more than she, I think.
Oh, on the subject of that, just a little pause, right? You actually saw Emilia Perez, right?
No, I didn't see it yet.
Okay. Like I thought you had, I thought you had like a little 2 cents a trade on that, right? But yeah,
okay.
But point is, despite the apologies, people distancing themselves from her. Even Netflix distancing themselves from her, right? So I don't know what's gonna happen at the Oscars. I hope that who's the host? Conan O'Brien. I hope he don't throw no cheap shots at she and then she walk on stage and slap him. I just seen this whole meltdown stuff. That'll be funny, actually, right? I just did a Facebook post, right? I just basically say, after, this 1 day of senseless narcissism, sorry, right? Yeah, I think it's time for every Kanye fan to just let go of the Color Trilogy and move on. Yeah. And I say this because...
You can't say he made graduation again. Them days done.
Yeah, boy.
Actually, as I say, my thing, red. When you see people changing the name, so that is a red flag. Like,
yeah. This official change thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right, for my time, once he do that, because I lock you up since Easy. Sorry, since Jesus, right?
Wow.
Right, since Jesus.
Oh, and in particular, I feel the moment where it was like, nah, good, is the I am a god. Especially the interview where he says, "Oh, people talking about why the track I am a god. Cause that's how I look at myself as a god."
Yeah. I forget which album is he do the video where he riding and came naked on him. That bullshit.
That's Jesus. Like, that's the last track. Bound. That was the last track on the album. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So that's the album I lock you off from. Long time. Never cared. Move it on. And the music was never good. Like, very little of it was great. But I was like, you're still doing production. You're giving Pusha T some shit. Good. All right. Then he started doing the Jesus thing. I was like, all right, well.
Yeah, and at that point in time, and I actually talked about the album, and I even talked about the short film that he put out exclusively in IMAX, which I saw, and I absolutely hated. It was just a waste of my time. It was just a waste of my time and money, right? It
never felt authentic at no point.
Agreed.
Never felt authentic.
Yeah, like I suddenly turned Christian all of a sudden, yeah. And as a Christian myself, like I just feel offended that I was sided with the man. Like, look, like the man really serious about wanting to add more gospel and Christianity into his work, dread. But he just keep backpedaling. And for me, Vultures 1 and 2 was just the biggest example of that, dread. Just him just devolving into this hedonistic guy, dread.
It's one of those cases where J. Cole just completely validate.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean, yeah. But the point of this mini rant, right, because I don't want to talk about the past so much, right, is that as somebody who was, I would say, was a diehard fan of Kanye ever since True the Wire came out, right, or I would say since Slow Jams came out, right, that's from the beginning, right, 2004,
True the Wire. True the Wire,
yeah,
the beginning.
Yeah, so, and I still hold on to the fact that the College Dropout changed. It just changed my outlook, Trey. Like creative outlook back in 2004. Like a backpacker could literally change the rap game just by being himself and not trying to be the next 50 Cent. That was amazing to me, right? I still regard Late Registration as the best of that trilogy, right? And we both spoke about it, a couple of years back where we did, where I did the hip hop's top 10, show, right? And Graduation, hold a special place in my heart too, right? Because, this was him branching out, leaving, stepping away from Jay-Z's shadow and really becoming the big super producer and, legend, big figure that we knew him as, right? And yeah, like, just his music, in the 2000s and 2010s, I will always remember them, right? I will always remember them. It's not that I'm just gonna drum them out of my mind, right? But just like Diddy Boy, after that whole meltdown trend, I was just like, nah, let me just get rid of all the Kanye West songs I have on my phone, right? And I just talk about like singles I have on my phone, like Homecoming, me with Chris
Yeah.
Martin from graduation. I had to take that shit out, boy. It hurt me, It hurt me, Dread, because I love the song and I love the beat, but I was like, now after this, boy, it's like that. Those days are over. That backpacker era is over. The Jesus King era is over. The Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy era is over. Now we in the Vultures era. Now it is just a guy who is just literally flying around his own shit, his own garbage, and he thinks that it's all art and it's just, whether it's performative, whether it's just trying to get attention,
Yeah, no
it's
matter.
pointless. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
really a pathetic attempt at drawing attention. And when you think about it, right, just a couple days before the Super Bowl, right? So you just want you even want people to think about what we could expect, what we would have expected from the Kendrick Lamar performance. No, it just had to be about you, Dread. But that outside of the Super Bowl stuff, right? It just felt like how I just pictured was just a guy home alone. Bianca just went out with your friends or something so for a whole weekend and say, fuck you, you ain't gonna see me until I come back. He had nothing to do. He couldn't even be bothered to reach out to his daughter Northwest or even like reach out to the ex or nothing. He just had the phone a bunch of time to kill and just say fuck it. I just gotta talk a whole bunch of shit about the Jews and Hitler and all that kind of stuff. I just was there watching
Right.
this like, dude, I looked up to you at that point in time. Why are you doing this? Why are you not like in the studio at home, which I know he probably has, focusing on your work trip? Why you still holding on to this grudge with Adidas because they cut ties with you and all
Yeah,
that kind
because
of stuff,
again,
right?
I kind of write you off a long time. Again, he couldn't even do the thing of going like, okay, creatively, I didn't expect him to put out anything like that interesting, but at least he was just producing for people. I thought he'd just stay there and just shut the fuck up. He couldn't even do that. Everything is just this, you know, feed into my attention seeking nonsense. That is like, yeah, we don't have, I just stopped paying attention to it. Like he gone a long time for me. It's not like and again, I don't do this erase thing. I'll still listen to Devil in a New Dress. I have no problem doing that. Because that is not the same person. As far as I'm concerned, Kanye West is dead. Yeah, this creepy monster exists now. Like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And like I said, like whatever, the old stuff still there. I don't feel no how about it. It's still on my phone. Whatever. I'll go on YouTube, whatever. If I feel to listen to some cardio track, because it was hard still. It's fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, this stuff, everything after Jesus, I never care for. I never care for. Never take it seriously. It had a couple of tracks I might have like maybe, but I never like Life of Pablo or Jesus is King or anything like that. Because all that stuff was just empty nonsense to me. And he just kind of he bring a cook. Right? He never really make the effort to like clean up himself or sort out. And that is where he is now. And then all of this nonsense get feed because Donald Trump getting through. All like part it. Right? All of this like all of the politics stuff and the thingy brain just get cooked. And I write you off a long time ago. Right? It was good. Even if you because like I say that the music was still good somehow. Right, I'd be like, all right, I might have given him a chance, but like I hate the politics and I'd try to give it a chance because like there's a coherency there now. If the music good, that means there's a brain there, but the brain not there. It had nothing. Like he gone. Like so, it's just noise. 'Cause as well, the one thing that he really like, this is why he lose man also. He had a he's using AI for music, but
Yes. I,
it's
I heard that
right,
prior to the
right.
meltdown. Yeah.
Right. But here's the thing with that though, is that the whole thing come across as super insidious. Now here's the thing with AI. AI is not like AI, right? It's just a shitty audio plugin, right? That they call an AI, right? Most of it is just not that particularly impressive. Even the supposedly best thing is still getting a bunch of shit wrong, whatever. But in terms of like from a creator standpoint, he looked like he was just taking somebody else's verse though and turning it into his own. And like that is ridiculous. It's like, oh, you just take somebody's verse and then put it onto the you gonna do that from now on though, as an AI person. Because like most of this AI stuff is clearly gonna be that, right? Just taking somebody else's work. And like, yeah, that is like the worst possible thing. That's like Drake on steroids. Like that's like a running joke about Drake, right? Drake is the first AI rapper.
Oh,
Um
yeah.
right, because of that, but it's that, right? Like if you're going to that can't be the standard. Like that cut that shit in the bud now. I don't care if he's the one who was like real playing with what do you call it? With autotune or him doing it with drum stuff and
A chip.
when he
Well, the whole chipmunk thing. Yeah.
no, but like just the look of like just drop like 808s no and the all automated stuff. Like a lot of stuff was always a paradigm.
Hmm.
And you could get into that debate about the nature of hip hop and remixing, or if you consider that reproduction or not, that's fine. But this is not what we get. And none of it is interesting or engaging. And what he doing is like, nah, you really cannot cross the line with that too. Like yeah. And again, I really thought he would have tried to do something experimental. Yeah, I'd still give him a chance. Like, all right, you might give us something interesting with this. Nope. I like, yeah, this dude cooked. Sorry. This
Yeah,
dude is
yeah.
cooked. Yeah.
And I'll close this, right? So for me, who have talked about his work ad nauseum over the years, man, I just tired. I just done,
Yeah. Enough. Yeah.
adding any more fuel to this whole discourse, just praising his work and whatnot, his past work. I just done, you know what I mean? Like I talked about the Netflix documentary, the docuseries.
Right, which is terrible.
Yeah. In retrospect, right? I talk about
Yeah,
Jesus is
genius.
King. I spent money on a Friday night to watch basically a 50-minute, experimental in quotes, short film for Jesus King, right? When the album dropped, right? I did that, right? I talked about his work on Hip Hop Sub 10. You know what I mean? I did a lot, man, and yet this man just finds more and more ways to just let us down. I mean us as
Yeah.
in the diehard fans, the ones who grew up on, so to speak, on Through the Wire and stuff like that, right? And Jesus
Yeah.
Walks, right? In particular, right? So it's like that, right? So yeah, at this moment, boy, I just have nothing to say. I'm not gonna talk about his work going forward. I'm not even gonna talk about, Bully being one of the worst albums of this year, right? I don't know, right? Unless there is something worth talking about with this new album coming
Yeah.
up. Yeah, there's really
Which
nothing
I
else for me
expect.
to say, right? But last thing,
Which I do expect.
yeah, which you do
But yeah,
expect, right?
yeah, and then he had ready. Well, when the account went down, he was putting on a sort of porn on the account. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
what's going on,
so I heard. I think he did that
Yeah, but
on
that's it. I don't
Sunday.
know. I don't know what you.
I think he did that like on Sunday itself before the Super
Right.
Bowl started. Yeah,
So
what you do?
somebody else follow on TikTok had a bunch of. He does read all the tweets all in one space. I think Christian Divine, if you look up that dude, is that like it's just take it to account, moving on. He really not worth talking about, to be honest. Like it's from here on in. Like, yeah, there's enough.
Yeah,
Moving on.
that's true. That's true. So yeah, just
Right,
like
now
Diddy
she'll
boy.
come back.
Yeah, so just like
Right.
Diddy, I just don't want anything to
No,
do
but
with this
yeah,
guy.
in the case of Diddy's like outright criminal offense stuff. Like that's what it is. It's not, yeah, but in the case of Kanye, he just can't help himself. And again, if you have a mental health problem, you could work around that. Like, you don't have to be people. I know people who are autistic and bipolar, and they're not assholes about the whole thing. That's the problem. And he just like just use that, to me. That's just an excuse. Sorry. Right,
Yeah.
that's some running. That's what we call running to the margins. It's about a term for that kind of behavior. You do some terrible behavior and you run into the quote unquote race to innocence. That is trippiness, right?
Yeah.
That is just childish trippiness. Enough.
So that's just one tweet I want to mention and one question I want to ask, right? And then we'll move on from this bullshit, right?
But I heard the Virgil one was pretty bad too. I heard that. I didn't read that, but I heard he is. But who is you talking about, Virgil Abloh?
Yes, him.
Wow.
Why?
Okay,
Because people still talking about him as a fashion designer, not you. So like,
Wow.
why you spitting on the man grave, Dread? Like, what the hell is that, right? Anyway, so the tweet. I actually heard about this morning actually, right? As the time of us recording this, right? Basically, how he was saying how it alluded just pretty much say this paraphrasing here, right? Oh, he did hit women in the past, right? But why it is all the why the government zeroing in or the public, whatever it is, zeroing in so much on Diddy, right? They're not giving him the benefit of the doubt or something like that, right? So not only are you confessing that you actually hit women in the past, right? But now you're still wondering why it is Diddy in jail right now, right? That's that. I'll leave it at that, right? And then the question now, right? What this to me is the best question to ask when it comes to all of this, right? Is it possible for a man, Dread, or at least somebody who is losing his mind or this close to just losing his mind completely, is it possible for him to just be on his phone, just tweeting? Should he be like doing something physically to express this madness? Like, just process this for a second, right? A man who is just on his phone, just typing a set of shit and putting it out there to the world. I've never seen or thought of that before, right? And yet, when I think about that, yeah, he comes to mind, Dread. That's just weird to me, Dread. You know what I mean? Like, just the idea of that. Somebody who has lost his mind or is close to losing his mind, just tweeting endlessly.
Yeah.
That's strange, though. That's really strange, right?
Yeah. He cook himself. Just cooked.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
his brain is fried.
Yeah.
Again, you know, if there's anything we're talking about with Bully, if we do get the album, I guess you might hear me see something about this here on this show. But from now, I nothing else to say. That's it.
Yeah.
I done with you. Moving on.
Yeah, me too. That's how I felt about it as well. But that's a hot minute ago. Since he's us, I was like, yeah, this one we ain't gonna get back this again too. Right, but whatever, we'll see.
Yeah, and if I just say one last thing and then we move on, I just hope that this upcoming Clips album, which we better get this year, because they was talking about it all the last year. Oh, you know the Clips album coming, blah blah blah. We better get that shit this year. I hope that is just Neptune's production. Let me just go back to Lord Willing. Let me go back to 2002 with that one. They go back just straight Neptunes. Or if it's just Pharrell now, let it just be Pharrell production. Just that, please, right? No more ye. Yes, we love Daytona. Yes, we love It's Almost Dry. But let me just move on from this guy, right? Let me just really move on, right?